Your website is the mousetrap. Your content is the cheese. Welcome to Content Matters with Barry Feldman and Andy Crestodina.
Barry, what's our topic today?
Today, we here on Content Matters with Andy Crestodina and Barry Feldman are going to go over the topic of web analytics because analytics matter. Yeah, well, you gave once upon a time you gave the metaphor of the sports scoreboard. You know, remember that one?
Yes, I do.
Lay that one on us. I think that makes it really easy to understand.
Well, I'm always meeting people who want to delegate their analytics or offload it or abdicate it to somebody else. And my case against that is this. Which player on a sports team is responsible for the scoreboard? Silly question. Everybody's responsible for the scoreboard. Everybody's responsible for the score. And the point is the scoreboard is the score, not the scoreboard itself. So you can't really just offload this to someone else. I recommend that people stay active in their own analytics. I think it's a tool that everyone needs to use to do two main things. First, they get an idea to help make that a better idea, to vet possible actions, to look to decide what to do, what might be done, and decide what to do next. Second thing we use analytics for is to see what we did, if it worked or not. So it can be used to kind of at the process of a decision and during the idea process, or it can be used after the action is taken to prove the hypothesis. Let's check to see if the actions we took put some numbers on the scoreboard.
Yeah, but the thing that you left out that I thought was cool was that analytics essentially could be misunderstood to be looking at numbers, key performance indicators and so forth. So a scoreboard is numbers, right? But you said once, and I'll never forget it, that truly practicing analytics is responding to the numbers, taking action. And so when you look at the scoreboard, it's a game of X's and O's. Football comes to mind since it's football season. When you know the score, if you're down by a lot of points and you're running out of time, you go to drastic measures. If it's close, you might play a conservative game. If you're winning, you might protect your lead. And so looking at the scoreboard is more than looking at the scoreboard. It's interpreting the scoreboard and taking action based on the score.
You made the case perfectly. I'm remembering now what that quote that you were talking about. It goes something like this. Reports don't affect your marketing. Charts are pretty. They may be motivating sometimes, but they really don't in themselves make any difference at all. The numbers don't affect your marketing. Actions affect your marketing. So analytics is only useful insofar as it guides actions, as it helps you make a better decision. It's a decision support tool.
All right, we got that out of you. We're ready to rock it. All right, so Mr. Crestodina, what do you think marketers are missing in their analytics?
Well, I think a lot of people are overwhelmed by it. They're missing the purposeful direction, as we just said, like it's about actions. I think a lot of people just log in. They look at reports. They start clicking around. There's more than 100. I think there's 120 or so different reports in analytics right now. It grows. And they're missing the strategic purpose behind it. So what we need to do is to ask a question and go look for an answer, or we need to have take an action and then go measure the results. So a lot of people are missing that. Number two, you can't really do that at all unless you have properly set it up. And I see way too many analytics accounts that just don't have the basic setup. Goals. Do you have your goals set up? Do you have a thank you page for every desired action on your website? Is that a URL of that thank you page set up as a goal inside the admin section in analytics? If you don't have that, then you're only getting half of the data. Now, you and I are going to talk about in a minute, and we always do, the Mousetraps and Cheese, right? The marketing and content, that's your cheese, attracting visitors. But is it a good mousetrap? Does it convert visitors? Is the second half of the battle. If you don't have goals set up, you get none of the data about mousetraps, about conversion rates, about what social network sends visitors who are most likely to subscribe, or about which of your blog posts gets people to take an action. Right? You don't know the conversion rate for your site itself. So those are two of the main things people are missing: the strategic nature and the proper setup and goal and conversion measuring.
Good. All right. You got any questions to fire at me, or should I keep interviewing you on analytics?
No. I want to ask you this one because I know that you get this question sometimes. How often do you look? People ask us a lot.
Yeah. Well, I don't think there's a correct answer or an incorrect answer for that. I personally look a lot. I think every day, at least. Okay, so we're talking about analytics, and you certainly can analyze a lot of things, and the channels with which you use to market yourself online generally deliver some package of analytics, some free, some paid. So I guess my answer right now is Google Analytics, the mother of all analytics, the free analytics, the little piece of snippet you put on your website. So Google Analytics is going to be where, people in online marketing are going to recommend newbies start. And it's and that's what you were talking about when you're talking about the hundreds of reports. And so I look at that every day. I want to know, did I have a good day? Did I have a bad day? What did I do today that made it a good or bad day? Specifically looking for the good day answer. And so I go straight to sessions meaning how many times people checked into my website, and then I go from there to content. Well, actually, no, I go from there to acquisition, and under acquisition, I learn where they're coming from. Was it a busy day on Twitter or LinkedIn? Did I do a guest blog? Did that make a difference? Did that make a blip? Did I put out a blog myself? And then I go to content. And the content is the answer to the question, where did people spend their time on my website? How much time? Did they bounce, as in did they come and go without clicking, and so forth. So you're right. There's so much there. It takes time just to get the hang of it. So I check it often, and then when it comes to other analytics, like my email analytics, I check it as often as I send email.
Well, I check it a lot too, not necessarily in an analysis mode, but I check it as kind of a scoreboard, just like let's glance at the scoreboard. I want to know how well it's working right now. And the way I do that, this is I'm kind of addicted to this. I have Google Analytics on my phone. It's an Android phone, and I pull it up. I've got 11 visitors at the moment. I've had 45,000 in the last month, and the two numbers I look at there are total visits and the number of newsletter subscribers and leads. So I'm measuring conversions there. What you just suggested was a great point for not maybe the daily checkup or the ongoing reporting piece, but real analysis. You just mentioned, was it a busy day on Twitter or was it a busy day on LinkedIn? Here's a piece of analysis that a lot of people miss, and it's a simple report to look at. Just go into your analytics, look at the acquisition channels, all traffic channels report, and it shows you your traffic broken down by search, by social, by email, by direct, by referral. Click on social, and you're going to see all the different social networks, and it's going to be at a glance which social network is driving the most traffic, which is what you just mentioned. But if you scroll over to the right and you choose one of your goals, for example, newsletter subscriber from that drop down, assuming you set up your goals properly, now you're going to see the conversion rate from visitor into newsletter subscriber from each of these social networks. This is brilliant data because you're about to be able to make a decision about prioritizing activity on social media, which is potentially a massive time suck, based on what will lead to the right action. So I'm glancing at mine. I'm looking at Twitter. 0.6% of visitors from Twitter become newsletter subscribers. Facebook, 0.67. LinkedIn, 1%. Okay, so I've got half again as many visitors who come from LinkedIn subscribe to the newsletter compared to Twitter. Doesn't that help me make decisions about where to be active, about where to do my networking, about where to promote content? So that's just a quick example of a report that can help you make a better decision that is like 3 clicks deep. It's like nothing at all. Took me 10 seconds to find that data.
Yeah, so you said LinkedIn converts at almost 2x. Did I get that right?
It's 1.5x. It's instead of 0.2%, it's 1%. So that'd be half again as much.
Right. So
right?
If I am doing what I'm doing to get conversions as defined by email opt-ins, right? LinkedIn's working, to spend some time on LinkedIn, nurture that, talk to your LinkedIn connections and see what they like.
Yep. I talked to a client yesterday. I said, they said, well, we're active on social media. And I asked the most important question, why are you active on social media? They thought about it for a second and they said, well, it's for brand awareness, but mostly it's for traffic. I said, great. What social networks are you active on? They said, well, we spend most of our time on Pinterest. Facebook didn't really help us very much. Great. Let's look at your site and see how much traffic you're getting from Pinterest. They were getting way more traffic from Facebook, even though they weren't even active there, compared to Pinterest, drove almost no traffic at all. You can imagine why. So it was really a disconnect between their activities and their goals. That was an example of a client who was not investing time in the channel that was giving them the results they were seeking. They were it's a waste of energy if their goal is to get traffic and they're on a network that's not doing that for them.
Yeah. So, I think you uncovered something important, and that is there's too much speculation, and like you've accused me of using your opinion to form conclusions when ultimately, the actions speak louder than words, or, actions talk. And so you're talking about a great example where hypotheses need to be tested. And sometimes,
Yes.
it's as simple as, what do the numbers say? Let's talk about the reports. I mean, you came at us and you're such an expert. I wonder if sometimes, also because we're not looking at analytics, if people are missing some of this stuff. And you said there's so many reports. Let's break it down and simplify and have you tell us what do you think for a beginner the most important reports to look at?
Sure. Reports are organized into 4 main sections: audience, acquisition, behavior, conversions. Look at the initial letters. Those are A, B, C. It's alphabetical. It's designed to be easy to look at, and it's organized by the top to the bottom of the funnel. Acquisition, awareness, that's the people finding you. That's total traffic. Behavior, what they're doing, middle of the funnel. That's consideration. Conversions is the final action, right? That's the bottom of the funnel. So it starts with the cheese and ends with the mousetrap. So it's really you're basically looking at what's working at what stage of the funnel by jumping into different sections in analytics. Generally speaking, audience I don't look at consistently as consistently because it's going to answer questions I don't need answered every day. For example, what percentage of my visitors are on mobile devices? That doesn't change all that fast. These aren't the main. These reports to me are not things that I need to look at frequently. But acquisition, where are people coming from? How many people are coming? What phrases are we ranking for? What social networks are driving traffic? Which email campaigns are successful? That's the sources, and acquisition is key for that. But behavior is probably the second most common place to look because that's your specific pages. Which pages are getting the most traction? Which blog posts are pulling people in? Where are people entering the site? Where are people exiting the site? So these are the main sections for analyzing specific pieces of content, not channels like acquisition, but the actual assets themselves. Conversions, yes, it's critical. You need to know what percentage of your total visitors are taking actions, are taking which actions, are not taking actions, are leaving at which part of the funnel. So that's basically the structure of Google Analytics: audience, acquisition, behavior, conversions. Traffic sources are in acquisitions. Specific content is in behavior.
Have you set up your Google Analytics such that it's customized and you've created a dashboard that gives you the things you want to know most quickly as soon as you get there?
Absolutely. In one click, I can see the three reports I look at the most are in a dashboard that I look at all the time. Now, I recommend creating dashboards because you can borrow the insights of some pro analysts. Under dashboards, which is at the very top, just click on New Dashboard. And rather than starting from scratch, click on this little button. This is brilliant. It's a killer trick. This is a great analytics hack. Click on Import from Gallery, and it's going to allow you to view and browse and read the reviews of hundreds and hundreds of dashboards created by experts. This is called the Google Analytics Solutions Gallery. There's one in there that's a great dashboard for doing social media analysis called I think it's called the Social Media Dashboard. One click and you add that entire dashboard to your analytics, viewing your data. There's another one for SEO called the SEO dashboard. One click, you add that dashboard to your analytics. It's got your data. These are amazing things that people have done. It's like real programming. It's like a technical thing to make these great dashboards. You can add them to yours in a second, and then within 2 seconds later, you can have that dashboard emailed to yourself as a PDF once a week. Now your analytics is coming to you.
Yeah, so you want shortcuts, people. This stuff's overwhelming. My client's going to like this. I got to plug my client and tell you this quick story. I have a new client. Their name is Dasheroo, and they've examined this problem that, okay, we have, we're in the big data era. We have the ability to have business intelligence because you can analyze, the hell out of everything. But when you do that, people all over the organization spend time preparing reports, bringing them to meetings, and time is burning, and so we have analytical overload. And so Dasheroo said, how about instead of, running around chasing reports, how about if all the reports come to you in the same place? And so they're in beta, and their product's free, and even more so than the dashboard that Google Analytics gives you, you can take Google Analytics and your email stuff and your marketing automation stuff and your social stuff and bring it all together for free in this series of dashboards that all lives in one place. So check out Dasheroo, people, and see if that's going to work for you.
I've used it. I like it myself. It's really nice to be able to create a dashboard across platforms. Here's my Facebook insights. Here's my LinkedIn dashboard. Here's my Google Analytics dashboard. It's all together there. It's in one place. So, Barry, what about analytics beyond GA?
Where numbers are, I look at them and they're everywhere. Certainly, atop that list is my email, and my email comes from a company called Campaign Monitor, and I went to Campaign Monitor amongst the many choices because I liked the artwork, the templates, saved me some time. But I stayed there because of the analytics. I love the reporting. And so certainly look at my email. I want to see, my emails at least every other time, and probably more than that, are simply feeds from my blog. And so I want to see, do people like this topic? Was this a good time to send it? Was it a good day? Did I pick the right subject line? So emails atop that list. I'm a Twitter freak. I'm very active on LinkedIn. I'm looking at those numbers, sometimes inside of the insights that the social media channels offer you. Sometimes just, simply I'm a Buffer customer. And so Buffer's telling me, they call it top tweets. Buffer's telling me, I guess I don't know exactly what it means to be a top tweet, but some combination of people clicked it, people shared it, or people commented on it to some degree. And so I'm looking at that, certainly looking at the share numbers on my blog. I think people often call that vanity metrics, and I don't know that I agree. And I think if you're looking at them only for the sake of vanity, they're vanity metrics. But I say, if vanity metrics indicate to you, what your audience likes, then go ahead and be vain, right? You're trying to feed the people what they like.
Yeah, I think that the problem with share as a metric is that it doesn't necessarily even mean traffic. Things get shared a lot without getting clicked. So every metric is somewhere on this giant funnel of top of awareness to bottom of conversion. So sharing would definitely be at the top. Below sharing might be, favoriting, retweet, all that stuff. Below that would be traffic. And below that would be subscribers and new followers. And below that would be leads and e-commerce sales. So those are more remotely related to ROI, but still relevant.
Any way that we can make this stuff easier, Andy? I know we got to wrap it up pretty soon. So, we talked about a lot of concepts and there's all kinds of analytics. Any tips you can give people to just simplify this?
There are ways to make Google Analytics easier. One of the ways is to just be purposeful about it and not go in and jump in, swim around in the ocean. I think that we need to use it with a reason. If you can find answers to your questions in analytics, you will gradually become more confident in it. That ease will come from the skill level, and the skill level comes from solving your own problems over time. So I think it's really just about not just looking at reports, but using analytics to do analysis and really try to find something practical, take an action, and then measure the results of that action. That's the difference between good and great marketing.
Yeah, I like that. And back to the sports metaphor, if you're calling a play that never works, and you never score with that play, you're going to stop calling that play, right? So the other day, I said to you, hey, I took that infographic that we made together and I did a guest blog for social media today. Look for traffic to come your way today, Andy. And you wrote back, it's not about the quantity of the visits, it's about the quality. So I think very simply that said, in another form, what you just said, I want to know, does a guest blog on social media today mean something in terms of a simple measurement that I value, which is email opt-ins? So it's all about quality, and you didn't drown in that ocean. You simply want to know, what was that number from social media today in the short course of time that followed that guest post?
Exactly right. Do it with purpose. Connect everything to a specific goal, and then you'll know if it worked or not. So Barry, it's time for Mousetraps and Cheese.
Yes, Mousetraps and Cheese, one of our themes. And for people that are joining us for the first time, Mousetraps equals your website and cheese equals content. Your what did I say once upon a time? Your website is the mousetrap and your content is the cheese. This
is Barry's quote that has changed my career because it makes it so simple to explain marketing to people. If your website was the mousetrap, your content's the cheese. So Barry's got a cheese tip for us. Barry, what are you going to tell us this week?
I think a lot of people, and perhaps some of the people listening today or joining us on Blab, think, well, the analytics are not that statistically meaningful because I'm kind of new to this, and so there's not very many numbers. Well, as a content marketer, one of the most important things you can understand, call it shares, engagement, vanity, whatever, is what's turning people on. What are you writing? What are you producing that people like? And so you're going to have to, use some intuition, but certainly the numbers help. And so if you if you have you're new to blogging, you're new to podcasting, you're looking at your numbers and you're going, well, it's not being viewed that much, it's not being played that much, it's not being shared that much. I say use other people's analytics. Okay. Mm-hmm. And so it's a great tool for that is BuzzSumo or Share Numbers Anywhere. You talked earlier about, you do well on LinkedIn. Well, let's just use that as an example. Mm-hmm. If you think if you have a hypothesis or a hunch that LinkedIn's going to work for you, go see what your competitors or similar experts in your field are doing on LinkedIn and see how they score in terms of numbers of shares, comments, whatever is meaningful to you, traffic, and take a clue from them. I think you have to put BuzzSumo in that conversation. It's simply a dashboard, at least on the surface level, of things that are being shared. So you could put in any website, let's say Copyblogger, one I read often, and put in a specific time frame, and you're going to see what's popular. And I think that's a pretty good hint about the type of things you should create content about if you have a similar audience.
Yeah, it's marketing, so it's public, so you can do competitive analysis very easily. What home runs did they hit? What content worked for them? What have they done that I could do even better? Who are they networking with that might be useful in my network? That's a great tip, Barry. Here's my mousetrap tip for us this week. It's about how to get better data in your own analytics. If you want to build a better mousetrap, you need to make better decisions based on better data. Here's how to get better data. In your analytics admin section, I want to suggest 3 different things. One, under View Settings, on the property, under View Settings, scroll down and click a little box called Bot Filtering. It will exclude all hits from known bots and spiders. That's going to remove a bunch of fake traffic, a bunch of robots, a bunch of non-human visitors. You can't make good decisions based on that data anyway. That box should be checked by default, I think, but they don't do it for you. You have to go click that yourself. Tip number 2 for a better mousetrap, better data, is to set up a filter to get yourself out of your analytics. Go to Filters, under Property, go to Filters, click the big Add Filter, it's a big red button, and then put in your own IP address, put in the address of your office, and now you're going to take yourself out of your analytics. Now you can go test your forms knowing you're not messing up your conversion data. So that's really important. Finally, a lot of websites have a site search tool, that little search box that people can search for stuff on your own website. What are people searching in there? Yeah, it's not just a service for your audience. It's a listening tool for yourself. Any action on your website is measurable, is reportable, so you can see what people are actually searching for. It takes 2 seconds. We'll share a link in the show notes that show you how to do this. Now you can see what people are actually looking for on your website. You're going to start listening. You can start publishing content, answering questions, make sure the right pages rank for the right phrases on your own site. I think that's a type of SEO we can all get behind. Optimizing your own content for your own search tool on your own website. That's my mousetrap tip for you today.
Sweet. Yeah, that second one is important. You said, get yourself out of there, but if you have 50 employees, you're getting 50 people out of there, right? So having numbers as a result of your, your own visits can make a real mess on your analytics.
Sure can. If your traffic crashes by 30% the next day, don't cry. That wasn't real traffic.
Yeah, good stuff. All right. So next time we are going to get into the topic of guest blogging. How's that grab you, Andy?
I love that topic.
All right.
It's going to take a little time.
This was Content Matters, episode 5, with myself and Barry Feldman, and we will see you all next time talking about guest blogging.
Thanks for listening, everybody.